Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again. I am Renee with Anomaly the Agency.
Chanel with Chapter 28 Beauty, and our special guest.
Yes, hello. My name is Indacia Thornton. I'm from Berks County. I'm a business owner in Berks County. I have a company called Shop Digital Headquarters, and we're an internet company with a social purpose to feed families. Also a business coach, and soon I'm going to be adding author to that title. So,
Perfect.
So I'm doing a lot over here.
Right.
Right.
Well, so this is vlog number 9. Today we will be talking a little bit about some financial literacy, e-commerce, and moving forward, let's get started. I think me and Chanel had a few questions, but I think mainly just kind of jumping off of your introduction. Can you tell us a little bit more about Shop Digital HQ and just the e-commerce side of things?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I didn't get a chance to thank y'all. Thank y'all for extending this platform to me. This is awesome. I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I have an internet company based here in Berks County. And what we do is we kind of like Amazon, not as successful yet, but, we do sell stuff on our website. And the difference between us is that we look to do good in our community. We help people with groceries, and we just want to be able to give back. I mean, it's part of my nature, who I am. So it's only right that I intertwine that with, the businesses that I do or I partake in.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. And I know you had mentioned that one of the goals in your videos you said were, the grocery giveaway for the hungry. Can you tell us a little more about that? Because I think that's a beautiful piece to what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's something, if people will Google it when they get a chance, there's something called food insecurity. And that's pretty much people that don't have funds to get nourishing food throughout the whole month, right? There are a lot of these people, they get assistance, food stamp assistance, and they rely on that in order to get nourishing food. And it hit home for me because, I'm from Reading, and Reading is now the poorest city, or was classified as the poorest city in the country at one point. And understanding that, according to U.S. government, my family and how we grew up will quantify as living in poverty, right? And according to income. And so understanding that and understanding that there was kids that lived in my area on my block that grew up similar how I grew up, right? But my household was different. It was a little bit ran differently than those other kids because, my household, we had structure, and I had a hot meal every night, right? But sometimes I remember going over to a friend's house and different things of that nature, and they might not have hot meal every night. You know what I mean? So that's a large part of why I started the business and added that social component to it, because I realized that kids nowadays are still dealing with this stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And these are kids that that you go to church with, kids that are in your child's classroom. You know what I mean? So this is still an issue that's still going on. So that inspired me to infuse that into my business and also help as much as I can and contribute with this this crisis that we deal with.
Wonderful. That's definitely beautiful. And I think that's so true, especially now. I know you're going to touch base a little bit on COVID-19 and how that's kind of affecting, small businesses and things of that nature. But, one of the biggest things that I think we tend to overlook is the fact that, a lot of the kids, their only meal half the time was at school. You know what I mean? The lunch that was provided to them at school. So I can imagine how difficult it is for them now. They're scraping up whatever they can find right now. So it's beautiful to know that we have someone that's local and that's, kind of going out of their way to ensure that, that's less of an issue moving forward. So I commend you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's something that it's a real issue, right? And to piggyback what you're saying as far as the COVID-19 situation, You know, I kind of have mixed feelings about everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that the virus is, you know, it's a real thing and it is affecting people and people are actually dying. But another thing I realize is that, you know, me being a black man in this country, I understand the historical nature of this country. And I understand that, you know, that they have used mass media a lot of times to enforce their will on my people, right? On African people or people of color, period. And I understand that you know, it's a play. I think it's a play. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I just think that, you
Keeping it
know,
up.
yeah, with everything that's going on, I just, you know, I have to question. I can't take everything that the government says as truth. You know what I mean? Given the
No,
history.
yeah. And I don't think anybody should, no matter who you are. Yeah.
Facts. So it's like, you know, like I said, I know the virus is real and people are dying from it. People are being killed from this virus. You know, and the people that we definitely got to watch out for are elderly and the people that are, you know, that are has weakened immune systems. Um, but all in all, you know, there's a bigger issue at line. I think it has to do um with the way that we eat as
Yeah.
Americans. I mean, like
Sure.
our health. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that they're not really talking about. You know?
You know, there's just some topics that you can really go in on, and
Yeah.
this is one of them. You know what I mean? I mean, we can just, there's so many different outlets we could take with this one in particular, you know, obesity and, you know, just the improper, you know, eating and growing your own food and, you know, so many different ways we could go about the conversation.
Right.
But I agree with you. I think all in all, just it's the simple fact that it's something that we need to pay more attention to.
Right. And intelligent conversations are important, right? Like people, you know, a lot of times they're watching, you know, Netflix and watching, you know, a whole bunch of nonsense and they're not really thinking about everything that's really going on. And
Right.
it's a good time to have intelligent conversations. So when you guys offer this platform and extended this, I'm like, yo, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Because people need to wake up. People need to get in tune to what's going on out here and stop falling asleep.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I think, you know, I was saying, I think our last vlog that I'm really proud of the turn that we're taking as a society, in a sense. You know,
Yes.
I have a lot of growing to do, of course, but I see a lot of people getting really creative, really going out of their way, you know, doing things, you know, whether it's DIY gardens and, you know, taking care of their households and just going above and beyond to make sure that they're comfortable in this current situation. And it's almost wild, but not super surprising that it would take something like this for us to get to that point.
Right.
But I'm very happy to see that that's something that's happening. You know, there's a lot of people just taking these opportunities to build and just continue to grow, whether it's your business or personal, you know, that self-care, like really just taking a lot of time to go in on themselves and really pay attention to the things that they might have overlooked or just allowed themselves to overlook for quite some time. We just don't have those excuses anymore. And
Right.
no,
There you go.
and not at all am I bashing. Yeah, you know, not at all am I bashing those that just kind of want to chill and watch Netflix. I mean, if that's your flavor, that's your flavor. But I think that there's so much more productivity coming about. You know, I'm seeing people launching e-commerce businesses left and right, which, you know, is such a great thing. So I definitely think, you know, to what you were saying, I think this is the perfect time to have these types of conversations. So why not?
Yeah, it's important.
I think that to piggyback off of all of that, like that is the one thing that I was able to do in this crisis was to figure out, you know, what I wanted to put inside my body and what mattered most at this time.
Right.
And
Right.
honestly, it was fitness and nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I have somebody here that can help me with that. I have my husband, I have his family who they are gym rabbits. This is all they do is work out. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we've been doing. We've been quarantined together. We're, you know, I'm losing my mind.
Right.
Furthermore, I'm shopping for the right groceries. I'm not spending an arm and a leg. There's no snacks. You know, I'm just able to cut out a lot of things because we're able to focus and really do our research on what it is that we're putting in our body at this point. You have nothing but time.
Absolutely.
There's no reason why you should still be living life on the edge at this point.
Right.
There's just no reason. So yeah, definitely.
Right.
I totally agree with what you put in your body. Going into COVID-19 a little bit more with the e-commerce side of things, like this is the perfect time to discuss you know, how e-commerce can benefit all businesses. So I wanted you to touch base on that because I know you have a lot to say about
Yeah, absolutely. Um, like I said, click and order, it's not about brick and mortar anymore. It's about click and order. And I think this COVID-19 crisis has kind of solidified that, right?
it.
Because I said that actually the quote that I made, I said that like 2018, right?
Nice.
And I was fortunate enough to kind of see, the value of owning an internet company. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so that being said, it's like it's critical now because even before COVID-19, there was a trend going on where businesses were closing all across the country. You know what I mean? The most notable stores that we're familiar with are shutting down, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's largely in part to of technology. It's largely in part to everything's accessible now on our phones. Like we don't have to leave the comfort of our homes. We don't have to go anywhere. Like we can just order things straight off our phones now, having delivered to our door. And I understood that, right? And being in this space, it's been a lot of learning, a lot of a learning curve, but like I see it only growing. You know what I mean? And the sooner that people, all business owners, like I don't care whatever your business is, if you have a product that you're selling, if you have even a service that you're selling, like you have to have some type of, internet platform. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, uh, with this coronavirus situation, people that, are working 9 to 5 jobs, that's another thing too. Like people that work is it's a good thing to have a job, of course, and to take care of responsibilities. But at some point, I think that you either want to invest your money, right? Or you want to own some type of business. I've realized too in this journey of entrepreneurship that everybody's not built to be a business owner, right? Everybody's not built to be an entrepreneur
Yeah.
because the amount of toughness you have to have, mental toughness that you have to have to start something, right, from nothing and grow it takes a lot. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't have that in them to really like stay the course. You know what I mean? So if you're not going to do that, or if you don't have the will to do that, then you should at least look into investing, right? Learn stocks, learn how to invest in insurances. You know what I mean? And I know these are not conversations that, we have in our community like that. You know what I mean? We're too worried about the weekend and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we gotta mature, man. We gotta mature
Like
on
you said,
many levels. You know what I mean? And I do my part as a black man to talk to other black men to encourage them, like, yo, bro, like I'm you. I come from where you come from.
Right.
I've done the things that you've done. But my thing is that it's 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like we gotta elevate, you know what I mean? And all aspects, our ways, our values, we have to elevate. And I just try to do my part, you know what I mean, best as I can.
Absolutely.
I wanted to say something real quick. At what point in your life did you realize that this is the route you was going to take? Like you were going to start to put all of your energy into yourself and educating others.
Right. That's a great question. I kind of always been like mature for my age, right? I'm 30 now, but I've always been like mature. Um,
Ahead of your
and
time.
yeah, like I've always like I got like an old school type of spirit. And I think largely in part because I'm the youngest of five. I got four older
Okay.
brothers. You know what I'm saying? So I've always kind of been, looking up to them. You know what I mean? Trying to do
Sure.
what they're doing, chase them, whatever. So that I didn't have like a younger sibling or whatever. So I've always kind of been, I guess, mature for my age or whatnot. But, um, I just started thinking like I'm big on like legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like what do I want to do? So, as
Yeah.
time and as you get older, like, you just mature, your mind start changing and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So I'm like, it's the time is now. You know what I mean? there's no reason to waste time. So it's like now it's time to really get to and solidifying like what it is, what's you know what I mean, what's going to be. I mean,
Right.
right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? And even your mention of how, like the brick and mortar, how that's just, that's soon to be non-existent, more or less. The first thing that popped in my head was Vanity Fair. And I think,
Mm,
oh no, that's a great example. That was my first job when I was 14. That was my mom's first job. So I have attachments to that place. And when I moved back in October, I actually had no idea that they even knocked it down. So when I came back and I knew they knocked it down because I had visited before. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not
that shit
really.
is. When's the last time
It's
you been in the city? God damn, you know that?
yeah, it's
Up there. If I don't go out that way, oh my God,
it's
that's
cool.
why.
Like they have, like how they had like the Timberland outlet and like all the other stuff with the Dooney and Burke. They have those little stores still, and which I think one of them is for sale. They turned one into actually a bar, Sly Fox, which is pretty cool. You should you should check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, Vanity Fair itself is gone, and it's just crazy. And I think that's a perfect example of just they could not survive. And I remember people taking buses to come down
Back,
there. You know what I mean? Been there
back.
at 14 years old and just it being crazy, working all day, 10-hour shifts. You know what I mean? Just working wild shifts. And yeah. And now
Yeah,
it's
we
just
had no
like,
sales tax here. There was no sales tax, so
yeah,
they would come busloads to
yes,
come out and go shopping here. And that's another thing too, like a lot of people, I mean, y'all from the city, y'all from Reading, so y'all familiar. Like a lot of people kind of like, talk down on the city, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And then like, there's no opportunities and things of that nature. And I lived in Atlanta, I lived in other cities before, but my philosophy is that like you should always start where you're at. You know what I mean? Regardless of where you're going, start where you're at. So like instead of me leaving and going to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, or going to somewhere else, North Carolina or whatever, like I'm starting here. You know what I mean? And I
right,
feel as though like this is a good starting ground in Berks County because, you know, it's a lot of opportunity. You know what I mean? When there's a lot of turmoil or when there's things that's going on, there's opportunity. If you look for it, you know what I mean. And it's like, this city used to be about something. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it has dwindled a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
just trying to reinvigorate, huh?
It's just so crazy when you're saying that because me and Renee, we've talked
yeah.
about so many
I was just,
ways to come back into the city and rebuild. And we've been not around the world, but like Renee done went to the whole other side of the world. You know what I'm saying? Houston, Colorado. I was in Atlanta. Now I'm in Virginia
Mm-hmm.
Beach, and yet I'm still deeply rooted to Reading, Pennsylvania, because I could have chose to leave Reading behind. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
yeah,
not even look back. But
right.
the reality of it all is like my family's still there. My nephews are still there. My cousins are still there. If I can, I want to share as much as I can to help build that place up or come back and,
That's the fact.
put into the city as I've seen others do in other cities. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
we
Yeah.
always said if we
And
were to start somewhere, would be with Reading.
Right.
yeah,
And
and
it's
I think
tricky, man.
honestly, I can say not to speak for you, Chanel, but I think I can honestly say based on the conversations that we did have, I really feel like for me, it took leaving the city, exploring other places,
Yeah.
gaining that different perspective to really understand that despite what it is or what it isn't, this is where my thought process would develop the most.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Whether it was from motivation or lack of motivation. And there's so much potential that we have here. Even just like we were recently looking at old pictures of Penn Street, and it's so crazy how Penn Street was so booming and Penn Ave really didn't have anything, and now that just completely flipped.
But yeah,
And
exactly.
it's wild because there's so much potential on Penn Street alone. And I remember, I mean, that was a thing on the weekends, going down there shopping, eating, doing all these things. And it's like now all we do is pass by, it's just a drive by at this point, and I think that there's slowly things coming together to kind of put that back to where it was.
Yeah.
And that's just something that, we just want to really be a part of because there's so much history here. We have a lot of amazing, talented people here, you know what I mean, that we all know, we're very aware of that. We just don't get the credit that is due. And I think a lot of it is because people know us as the poorest city in the nation. And, like, it's just all these crazy things. And it's just like, we're so much more than that, though. You know what I mean? We have actual, celebrities and stuff coming out. We have people that are really talented, really making a difference. I feel like, you know, this business that you have, the thing you're trying to do, the grocery giveaway, that's huge. There's so many people that could benefit, and in return, that could help with the poor side of things. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different ways that we could look at this. So yeah, just thinking of that and just how much the city has changed. Even just through the time. I mean, old folks say it the most. You know what I mean? They used to be able to walk around the streets at 4 in the morning, and this and that, and now
leave their door open and all that.
Yeah. So it's crazy. You hear those stories, and I believe it to be true. You know what I mean? And we're not the only city that has dealt with that. And we won't be the last. You know what I mean? We're not the first. We won't be the last. But it's just very interesting. But I really think it took us gaining perspective in other places to really appreciate the city for what it was. And that was a lot of our inspiration for even doing these vlogs. Is like, we just know that there's voices out there that need to be heard.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I think that I think it's two ideologies on it, right? Like, you can leave and come back and contribute, or you can stay and try to contribute that way. And I think that either perspective is fine. You know what I mean? Either perspective is fine, because at the end of the day, it's like you're giving your experiences, you're giving your value, and more importantly, you're giving your time. You know what I mean? Because people don't have to do anything. Like, you can go off and do whatever, but somebody that wants to do well, wants to do good for the community, like, people should support that. You know what I mean? Like, always should support that. But that's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it's really hard. I think one of the things that me and Renee have had an issue with is finding other people who feel the same way we do.
wow, yeah.
And how serious it is, and how, like, we're so deprived in our city just because people are not coming up with these small little things. Like, there's so much that we've experienced in other cities that it should be nothing to have this in Reading. It should be nothing to set this up here. But nobody, or if somebody is, please, like, hit us up, like, let us know so we can be a part of that. We are ready to take things, like, literally to the next level. I'm in Virginia Beach, and I'm ready to take things to the next level as fast as possible. But it's like finding people with common ground on our ideas and what we're trying to do. It's extremely hard. As soon as you say you want to do something, first person to the left is like, I don't think that's, I mean, really, like, that's not gonna pop, or that's not gonna make no money.
And that's the thing, yeah.
Like, let's go ahead and try to rebuild. Like, so.
Yeah. That's a good point, because it's usually like, it's the people that's around you that are blinded by the light, right? Like, they don't see it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's funny because it's like, it takes for other people outside of different areas to recognize you before the people around you really recognize you. You know what I mean? That's unfortunate. It's like, no, like, support me now as when I really need you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because once I get to the point where I don't need you, then I don't need your support. You know what I'm saying? But, and that's it. And to segue into why that's a good reason to have an internet business, is that you can find your own community when you have internet business. You know what I mean? So that's what technology has done, and it's a good time to be an entrepreneur in this time period. You know what I mean? Because of the technologies that we have. You know what I mean? Like, we're having a conversation right now, and you're somewhere else and you're somewhere else. It's like, it's amazing. So, like I said, you can find communities with the internet. You know what I mean? So it don't matter where you're at. You know what I mean? You can find the communities that support you. So, again, like, it's unfortunate, but we do have blessings and things that are at our disposal that we can use and stuff.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Perfect. One thing that I did want to touch base on, I was watching one of your videos, and you were sitting in Domino's, and you just kind of mentioned that it's a brand champ. Good example for small businesses to follow in terms of branding, the innovation, things of that nature. So it was funny that you had brought them up, and the reason I bring them up as well is because from a PR standpoint, Domino's is a brand champion. And so that's something that's like literally my prime example. When anybody asks me, I always immediately go to Domino's, ironically. So when you brought it up, I was like, okay, so there's more that we can add to the story here. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a chain of restaurants, but their branding is on point, and they've literally changed the game since way back. We're talking the 90s. when it came to technology, innovation, things of that nature. They have actually always kind of been ahead of the game, which is why they have such a high profile, compared to other chains, other pizza places and things of that nature. But I kind of just wanted you to go into that a little bit more, maybe not necessarily Domino's in particular, but just in general, your thoughts on that as far as branding and innovation and things of that nature.
Okay, sure. Branding is uh, branding is as how you differentiate your business from other businesses. So, what I was making, the point that I was making in that video is that as a small business, you have to really, as any business for that matter, you have to really hone into your message, right? And you being in PR, you could probably really understand that. Just honing in on your message of your company and why you're doing what you're doing, right? Because these things help differentiate you in the market from other companies, right? So I'll give you an example. If I put if I gave you a glass of soda, right? One had cola in it. They all had cola in it, right? And I had you drink it. Would you be able to see what brand it was just from drinking it?
No,
You wouldn't, right? If I
no.
gave you so exactly. So what differentiates you from the market is your branding and your message or whatever it is that you're doing, right? So I gave you one might be Pepsi, other one might be Coca-Cola, other one might be a knockoff brand or whatever. That's, the branding was there. You know what I mean? It's simple as, and branding is colors, whatever colors you put on your product, the message that you have, the font that you have. The
Right.
fun stuff in business, right? Being able to be creative, put your own. It's important that all businesses, that they hone that, and you don't have to have it all figured out in the beginning. Just be different. You know what I mean? Be different in whatever you're doing, and like I said, you're going to develop that over time. You know what I mean? It's business it's an ever growing thing. Like it's never you have it all figured out. You know what I mean? Like like as you grow, you get systems, processes that help you, but you're always trying to to sharpen up your message. Sharpen up your campaign or whatever that you're doing. So it's really critical and important as far as branding goes.
Absolutely. And I think, just adding to that too, I mean, when it comes to branding, your logo, I think I've come across a lot of clients that were very in the very early stages of their businesses and kind of maybe didn't see the importance of the logo. And I think that's something I kind of just want to touch base on really quick because that's very important. You know, I took a class specifically on just logos in general and the messages within them. And that is really where your branding starts first and foremost. I've worked with clients and a lot of the questions that I ask is, what is your logo? What does your logo mean? Like if somebody went up to you and was like, what does this stand for? What does this mean? Like your logo should kind of in a sense tell a story. It doesn't have to tell a long one. It really doesn't. Some are just as plain as day, but some of them, for example, the FedEx logo, the Toyota logo, there's a lot of different logos, in these major companies that were well thought out, well put together. And you don't even have to have the actual wording in there. You just see two specific colors, you see certain things, and right off the rip, what company that is. And that just ties into branding off of the strength of with your brand, even as a small business, for example, for Chanel with your body butter, you know what I mean? Like if you have something on there in particular where they see a little symbol of some sort and they're like, oh, okay, well, this is this or this is that, you know what I mean? Chanel brand, like.
Right. I wanted to say something to that because when I decided to change my name and, kind of revamp my logo and revamp my brand, going more towards the healthier side of things, we're talking green, we're talking white, we're talking very light pink, we're talking a lot of white,
Right.
a lot of white and green for natural. So
Right.
that's what my logo is now. It's the Chapter 28 Beauty, but the 28 is like a vine. You know what I mean? It's to symbolize health and wealth at the same time. So yeah, that's extremely important. Picking colors, and it's the hardest thing for people to do. I mean, if somebody shoots something out to me and I'm like, well, what do you want to relay when somebody sees your logo, something like that? and they have no idea. That's like that's like the hardest thing to do is find a
Right.
logo and put one together. And I mean, I put my own together and just off of years of just literally drawing, sitting down and just doodling and thinking of like, but then, you know, as you get around business owners like ourselves and stuff like that, you start to see different things and how people are putting things together, and it
Sure.
makes, yeah. So it's always, you're always going to grow. I mean, I've
Vision. Yeah.
seen so many logos kind of like they stay somewhat the same, but they change something small, you know,
Yeah.
as they
Right.
progress, and that's super important. You know, all that should grow. The color should grow, maybe vibrant, dull it down, whatever you
Yeah.
need to do.
Right. And it's
Absolutely.
a science. It's a science to it. You know what I mean? Like people actually study this stuff. You
Yeah.
know, psychologists and things of that nature. Like like the color red. Right. You see a lot of red. If you notice in all fast food chains, you see the color red.
Because
Right.
it's
Mhm.
But why is that? Why you see color red? Anybody knows?
Because there's meaning behind it.
Yeah, but they see the color red because on a psychological term, red makes people hungry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Red makes people hungry. So if you, it's like I said, it gets deep because there's people that study people, their habits, right, in order to make them want to spend money. Like the whole game
Yeah.
is getting somebody to spend money with you, right? So there's a lot of thought and a lot of things that goes into that, right? And another thing that they do too is like if you go to the grocery stores, they set things up in a certain way to make you want to buy things, right? Like like if you notice when you go to the checkout line, they set all the candy and all that stuff, they set it at the cash register. Because before you leave, they want you to make another purchase.
Yeah.
You know, everything that you're going to get, they want you to make another purchase. Different nuances, you know, people understand that, you know, these are things that have been well thought out, right? I think somebody touched on that. You know what I mean? These are things that are well thought out. And the owner, you know, you want to think these things through. You want to think these things through. Like you don't want to just, you know, be lackadaisical with it. Like think it through. And whatever it means to you, that's what you go to the market with. You got to test the market. You know what I mean? And once you test the market is going to let you know if they rocking with it or not. You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
they
One of the first things I did before even getting started with the ins and outs of my business was I looked up the colors. I looked up the meaning of my colors, the psychology behind my colors. That's always been an important thing for me. And the reason I chose my colors are just basically behind the meaning in general. And it's very similar to, that's why a lot of people, like you said, red, it makes people hungry. You know, the reason why classroom walls are white is because they're boring and it makes people focus. And you know, like
right,
little things, like things that you really have to pay attention to that we don't think about until we actually go out of our way to search stuff like this. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. I think that's super important, you know, for anybody that's starting a business, has a business. I genuinely hope that you're not just throwing the logo together just because, you know, I really hope. And again, sometimes it is just simple and that's beautiful, but put a little more thought into it. If somebody looks at
yeah,
your
and they
logo,
have if it means something to you. I'm sorry, I may cut you off. If it means something to you, right, then run with that. You know what I mean? But
right.
don't just put it out there, you know, just like, oh, just whatever. If it means something to you, use that and run with that. You know what I'm saying? Like things can change. And as you grow as a business, you know what I mean, then you know things can change. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, you know, just put some thought and effort into it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the only thing that I would ask. And I think, you know, simply put, you know what I mean? Simple, less is more, you know what I mean? That's important too, you know, and that's with all things. But there is more to just boom. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things I ask. Again, my clients, I was working with a client, helping them with their business plan. And my thing is, why did you choose these colors? You know what I mean? And sometimes it really is as simple as, oh, we just like the colors, you know, and that's absolutely fine. You know what I mean? But that's just a common question that I like to ask because again, people look at colors and the reality of the situation is we look at colors and we feel certain things, certain colors mean certain things. That is just the truth of it, you know, period. And I think it's just something that not a lot of people think about. So it's very important. You know, if you want your long-term success, I think it's something worth considering, at least worth researching, like you said, for the next jump in your business or the next change or the next plan, you know, something that can really get you thinking. And then not only that, but if you do still have a brick and mortar or even on your e-commerce website, you know, that's all important. That still very much plays a role when people go on your website and, you know, it's the colors, you know, it especially now with our digital media generation, you know what I mean? Our, you know, all of us in general, you know, when we go on a website, the first thing we're noticing is the layout, what it looks like. You know, that's very important. It's not so much important, I think, to older generations where they want it to be simple. They want it to be straight to the point. I go on, I can just click and just do a thing, and that's it. But
Right.
to these younger generations, this is everything. Their digital footprint is serious, very, very serious. And not for nothing, a lot of these kids are still in high school, but this is the future. And they're judging our product and our website and everything because that's important to them. This is how they make their decisions. And so, you know, it's just if you want to keep up with trends and stuff like that, these are the kinds of things you're going to have to do. Just asking yourself, okay, is this website simple enough for one generation and unique enough for another? You know,
Right.
it's really as simple as answering that question.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it's so many different things, man, when it comes to business that we have to get in tune with, right? And so it's like, a lot of people, like, growing up in the hood and shit, like, you know, a lot of the things that we deal with is like we get disrespected and we spending money places. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how we gonna, like, I'm spending money with you and you got a damn glass mirror for me to even put my money to get anything. You know what I'm saying? From the consumer side, that's how I look at it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going spending money places, you know what I mean? I at least want the common decency of being polite. You know what I'm saying? Or people,
Absolutely.
people don't even understand. You know what I mean? Like, you are making their business. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
making their business. You're spending money with them. You're helping them out. So you don't have to tolerate
Right.
a lot of the things that we have to deal with. Coming from the
Right.
inner cities of America, like, we don't have to tolerate these things.
Right.
So,
Right.
as a business owner, I realized that with every customer that spends money with me, I want to make sure that they feel appreciated. You know what I mean? Like, I want to let them know, like, go the extra mile, like send them a personal email after they, because doing things online, like, a lot of things is, you're not touching the customer physically or interacting with them physically, but you can send them a courtesy email. You can send them, give them a promotional something on your next product or something like that. And these things go a long way as a business owner, because that lets the consumer knows that, oh, okay, wow, you appreciate them. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
that you actually care. So it's important, man. It's important that we really understand, like, the importance of business. You know what I mean?
So I wanted to touch on what you just said as far as like, you know, you as a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to build a business. Let's say you're looking to put a plan together. The more detailed you are about your plan, the better you are, or the more able you are to control your consumer, like the consumer that you want. You know what I'm saying? If you just put something together, or I want to have a business and open up the storefront or open up your e-commerce or whatever, but like price point, demographics, all those things matter. If the more
Yeah.
research and work you do on that end, the better, the more likely you're going to get who you want to shop with you. You know what I mean? The way it looks and the way it feels and all those things. So that's like really important because, like you said, you when you're spending money, and that's the biggest thing with our culture. I feel like we spend money in every other area but ourselves, and that is
Yeah.
like the saddest thing.
Yes.
Like, so first and foremost, like, this vlog is definitely looking into our community for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking out for us, putting others' businesses on. Like, y'all need to open up your eyes. Like, you can't want to go spend a $200 on a pair of flip flops at Louis, but then I turn around and ask for $50 for a silk press, and that's too much. Like, that
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what
I
I'm giving you is self care. I'm providing self care for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah.
providing hygiene. I'm taking care of your scalp. You know what I mean? Like, them shoes ain't nothing for you. I'm sorry, but they're not doing nothing for you. You can burn them things up today. So, I, yeah, people got it misconstrued. And once that turns around, we'll be great as a people.
Yeah.
We'll be
Right.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And then adding on to that, there were a couple of things I wanted to say. First off, I remember having a conversation with a kid that was going into school to be a doctor. And I had asked him the question, oh, okay, so what makes you want to be a doctor? And he simply was just like, I like money, which scared the hell out of me, if I'm being very honest with you, because this is somebody who wants to perform surgeries and do all this type of stuff. And you're just doing this solely because you like money. It just was a very scary answer. And I had to tell him, I was like, look, like, if that is the only reason you are going into this profession, you're about to like have your mind blown, because you're literally responsible for people's lives at that point. And, it's scary to think that there are a lot of people outside of, doctors and all of that too, just in business in general. Adding to what you said, and Daisha, I think that's so important. Like, you have to know your customer. You have to have some sort of empathy towards what they're looking for. You have to be able to answer the questions that they don't even know that they need to answer, period. Like, I think that's just so important.
yeah.
Also, I just think, in general, like, it's just so important to, like you said, researching your demographics and understanding, the customer even further, and understanding why you chose these customers and why you feel that they best fit your profile. This is why you see, and a lot of people don't like this, but this is really why you see these surveys being sent out. What is your income? And this is literally the reason. These are the reasons that these surveys are answered or need to be answered for a lot of people, because businesses are trying to be built. And this is really what they look at when they're building their business. So it's less about making you feel like less than a person, and more about, people just really trying to make the most out of their business and making sure that they're catering to the right audience, because it's important, and then even further adding on to what you said, buying the $200 Louis flip-flops that are going to last you one summer and you're going to lose you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense. And I feel like we really do, as a community, struggle with that in particular. I have that conversation, adding on to that, right now, what's really popular is the Cash App Hexagon game. I don't know if you guys are seeing that.
I heard about that. I don't know what the
Yeah.
hell that's about, though.
So basically what it is, from what I've been told, is you get 8 people. So the point is, everybody whose name is on the hexagon, all 8 of you have to get an additional 8 people. Once your name is in the middle of the hexagon, you get the $100 that each person has to pay in to become a part of the game. So it's kind of like quick money, things of that nature. But the only thing that really blew my mind was, we are so quick to like invest $100 into getting this money really quick, but we would never think of investing that money to maintain long-term success.
Right.
And it kind of just broke my heart a little bit. And I had to post something about it. I really just didn't want to be that person, but I had to be, because I was just like, this makes little sense to me. I get it. You want the cash quick, but then also when you get that cash, you're not going to invest it in your friend's business that's over here, you know what I mean, selling clothes, or,
Right.
and that's the scary part about it. By all means, get yours how you get yours. I'm not here to knock anyone's hustle. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. But you're playing this game. You're building up on this company that's literally based on money, making money, period.
So it's a
And
company that's doing that, or somebody? It's a company that
so they're
came up with it.
I don't know if they officially came up with it. A lot of people have been telling me that people's Cash Apps accounts will actually be closed if they find out that you are doing it. So I've been getting mixed information, but I know that that's what they're calling it, like the Cash App Hexagon game. I think that's where all of the money is sent to. It's kind of put in a pot or something like that, or it goes particularly to the person that's in the middle of the hexagon.
Yeah.
And that's how they're getting the money. It's very similar to other things, that people used to do back in the day. But long story short, it just really was mind blowing, because no shade, but these are also the same people that would be a little hesitant to invest $100 into somebody trying to build a baking business, or, you know what I mean?
So you pay them $100, and they're going to give you 800.
No, whoever's in the middle, and whoever is able to get 8 people to join that team gets everybody's $100. Is from what I've been told. So that person gets.
I believe that it's like so. Say you have 5 people, you're in the middle.
Yeah.
As somebody on, it's gonna move people down and into the middle. So like at one point you're like number 7, and then you're gonna be number 1 at some point to get the money. You can't get the money to get to the middle. So more people have to sign on and send $100 in order for people to continue to move around and generate that $800, which is why it's like an ongoing thing. If you know that people are going to give you $800, which is the most craziest thing ever, $100, I'm sorry, you know, towards this, and they're going to join only because they know they're going to get $800 once they move to the middle.
Yeah.
No, that shit sound like a scam, like a motherfucker.
And that's what a lot of people are saying. It's so my thing is anybody that's participating, again, I'm not knocking you, but you can never say anything about a pyramid scheme then, because it is not different at all. You literally took a pyramid.
That's what it sounds similar to.
And it's as simple as that. These pyramid schemes, the whole thing is you recruit people that recruit people that recruit people. And that is literally what they're doing. And just making it so that over a few weeks, couple weeks period of time, at some point you get $800. But it's very mind blowing, you know. And again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm sure there's people watching, you know, that do this. I'm not knocking you. I just really genuinely hope. And my challenge for you within that is, you know, also consider next time when your friend is trying to start a business, investing that $100 into that too, because now your colors are showing, true colors are showing in a sense. And it's important because these are the reasons we have these conversations, is because everybody, you know, from time to time kind of wants a handout or just doesn't believe in that person enough to invest $50 or $100 into their business, but you're willing to give it to people just off of the strength that you will make quick cash weeks down the line. And
that's a good point that you bring up too, because people probably investing in that and don't even understand it, right?
Exactly.
And my thing is like people like you said, they should take that same $100 and invest it into their friend, to a family member, or invest it into themselves. Yeah, or invest it into themselves. But people are so scared, right? Or they're so apprehensive because they don't understand it or because of that. But you're willing to invest in something that likely not going to turn out the way that you think it is, just at the chance of getting that. You know what I mean?
Not to cut you off, but a lot of people are more interested in short-term cash versus long-term success. And I think that is, in a nutshell, the very issue. And I feel like at one point or another, we were all guilty.
That was heavy. I like that. Short-term cash, long-term success. I like that. That was heavy.
Yeah, write that down.
Yeah. That's a tweet right there.
Right. You know, but it's just, that's really what it shed light on. And like I said, I mean, at one point or another, we were all guilty of that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, unfortunately, especially as Americans in general, no matter your color, whatever, I think Americans in general, we get really lazy sometimes. We're used to certain things. And this kind of like shows and prove that type of thing. Now, granted, this is something I think that's going on worldwide, but the point of the story is that a lot of times we are so comfortable with getting it quick and easy versus really putting the work and the time in and really creating longevity, you know, that true stream of, and that jumps right back into what you were saying in the beginning about legacy, which people don't think about. You know what I mean? Like, this is something you could invest that $100 and it could go into something that's going to boom, and your whole entire family could be set for the rest of their lives. You don't even know, but nobody's willing to do that because it's taking too long. It's going to take too long. And I want to see that return right now. And I think we have to get out of that mindset. And I think that's very hard, you know, unfortunately, especially within the Black and Spanish communities. I think it's very hard for people. And I'm sure any community in general can relate. But I just think, you know, we can only speak to what we know.
It's a microwave society that we live in.
Yeah.
Everybody want things instantly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that has come, I believe that has come because of you know, our culture and what we value, right? So it boils down to, what do you really value in your life? You know what I mean? Like, that's the deep question that people need to ask themselves. Like, what is your value? Where your value system lies? Are you worrying about, you know, we all, you know, go through it. We all young, you know what I'm saying? And we all have to get our life experiences and things of that nature. But once you hit a certain age, You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, it's time to really buckle down and figure out, okay, what am I doing with my life? You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When you start hitting that 35,
Yep.
40, like you should be trying to think about like, the weekend or shit like that,
Yeah.
or going out. Like it's time to really, 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 you know, really, like I said, start thinking about your legacy, man, and what you want to leave to these children. Because one thing that we suffer in the Black community is that we don't have we don't have generational wealth.
Oh,
We don't have
yeah.
things to pass on to our children, and that's a shame. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A lot of us pass away, and we don't have the proper insurance to bury us. We don't have the proper
Right.
insurance to pay for, to leave for our children. And these are things that that bothers me, is because I feel like what we value is all wrong. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We value the wrong things, and it's like I said, it's a culture that we've been groomed to have ingrained in us, and a lot
Yeah.
of things has to change, man. A lot of things has to change, and it starts with our values.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think a lot of it is more mentality. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing for me, especially in the city. I think moving back, I think again, my perspective has changed and transformed in so many ways, just living in other places and understanding different perspectives and things of that nature.
Right.
But I'm also very much familiar with the fact that not everybody has that same experience that I do. You know what I mean? So now coming into conversations, it was difficult. It was really difficult. And I've mentioned that multiple times, but it really was difficult to hop back into conversations with people that had the same mentality that they had before I left. And I've been going for 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
So to come back and see that you're still kind of feeling the same way, your day is kind of just filled with doing the same exact thing every day, which again, if it's actually working for you, by all means, do
Right.
it.
If it's Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
not for you. And that's
Right.
my thing about it. It's one
Right.
thing to be out here partying up and smoking and drinking and whatever. Hey, do your thing. Whatever your release is, that's your release. I'm not knocking you for it. But it's
Right.
another thing entirely to just be doing that and
Yeah.
sitting there complaining about the money you don't have, the places you can't go. You know what I mean? The moves you can't make, but you're also
Right.
just not doing anything about that at all. And it's simply because you feel like it's all talk. You don't believe in yourself enough. You're not surrounded by people that have that thought process or are doing better or doing the same as you. You don't have that. And so it's very scary because I see so many people with so much potential. And for me, I definitely feel, and I think a lot of people feel, I don't know how they feel, to be honest. I don't think I've ever asked, but I really take time to let people know, like, hey, I think you would be like really good at this. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because sometimes that's all people need. And again, that's mentality. It's like you've been programmed in a sense to believe that you can only do certain things, you can only move certain ways. Like this is the only way to get to the bag. You know what I mean? But it's really not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's really not. It's okay to step out of the norm, and it's
Comfort
okay
zone.
to be different. You know what I mean? It's okay to not have
Hmm.
to do what people think you're actually supposed to do because you're putting yourself in a box. And I refuse. Look, if anybody who knows me, I'm not traditional. I'm not that person in any way, shape, or form. So when I see that and I see people purposely putting themselves in there and making these excuses and, oh, well, what about this? What about this? Yeah, I feel you. Those are all great questions. But let's make
Right.
this happen real quick. And when we get there, then
Right.
let's see how we feel about those same questions and what we can do to prevent those things from happening. That's it. You
Right.
know what I mean? But
I
it's
did want
very
to say, I read something a couple years ago, and it said 70% of people in the world, they need to be told what to do. They need
Mm.
to be told
yep.
what to do.
Yeah.
If they're not told, listen, your job starts at 9 o'clock and ends at 5. Your dinner time is going to be between 5:30 and 8 p.m. You're going to need to rest between 8:30 p.m. and 5 o'clock the next morning to wake up. You have to get your kids to school like somebody's always dictating your future at that point, right?
Absolutely.
Entrepreneurs are the only ones that come out of that pull out of that mindset because now I set my own hours. I do
Right.
what I want, when I want, how I want.
Yeah.
So kind of like a give and a take because we don't have the financial stability that you would have when you're working a 9 to 5 or you're working a government job or you're whatever, but you have the means and the time to make your life what you want to make it. And that's the biggest part of it all. Because if you set yourself up the right way, money will come.
Right.
The money will come. It's not going to be instant, and you got to be okay. When you were saying earlier, like everybody's not fit to be an entrepreneur, you have to be okay with letting the money come, not all about instant gratification in this microwavable society.
Right. And to piggyback off of that, what you just said, that is something that you have to work your way into. You know what I mean? And I think that people make decisions without thinking it through all the way, right? People are jumping out of the damn helicopter without a parachute. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, you have to, in essence, think things through, dot your I's, cross your T's, and really figure out, you know, the what ifs. What if it doesn't? What if I put this out and it doesn't sell like I thought it was going to sell? What if it, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to pivot? And people are so, and I get it, you know what I mean? People are so excited about their ideas, whatever they're going to have. Oh no, this is going to hit. This is going to work. But you know, you're gonna find very quickly once you get into this business entrepreneurial space, it's like, you know, it may not work out the way you thought it was. You know what I'm saying? But that's good though. That's a good thing, because what that enables you to do is like, okay, let me go back and let me change this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me fine tune it. Let me figure this out. And that's going to determine whether if a person is really about that, you know what I'm saying, really want to be successful, or they just in it just for the glitz and glamour of what they think what it is to be a business owner. And like I said, reality is like, yo, you're really a lot of nights you're answering emails, you're trying to working on your website, or you're doing different things. Like, it's a lot that goes into it, and it does get easier, right? As you grow. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, it's a lot of, you have to wear every hat. It's a lot of work. You know what I mean? You have to wear every hat. But that's why I said it's not for the weak, man. But I believe that it's the most rewarding thing. It's the most rewarding thing once once you stick to it and you start to receive some fruits from your labor. It's the most rewarding thing, man. And it's so like, you just get a feeling of just being independent. You know what I mean? It's like you're out of the rat race. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? It's the most rewarding feeling, and that's why I encourage all people. Like, if you notice a lot of my videos, I said, yo, you have to start a business. If you're not going to start a business, then you have to invest. Yeah. But if you're thinking about getting wealthy, or if you're thinking about not even getting wealthy, because everybody doesn't want to be wealthy, but if you're just thinking about having some extra money to do to some of the things that you like, you have to think more than the damn job. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. You have to go to streams, though. Your 9 to 5 is only one stream. Facts. And your 9 to 5 is not going to get it for you for the rest of your life. It's just not. It's just not. At this point where we are in the world, that is not going to work. You're going to need to do, like you said, do some investments, look at some stocks, start a business, have that stream. And you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel here. Like, you can just look at something that you're interested in, and you feel like you could like to do that too, have some type of passion behind it, start to study it a little bit, and then do your research and put something together, something real small, real chill, off to the side. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. But that's another
and use your business to fund it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Use your working to fund whatever business. That's what I did. I used a lot of the money that I set a little bit aside, and I funded to the point to where it's like, all right, I can have this one on its own. It can take care of my expenses for me. And that's the thing about it. It's like we have to change our paradigm. You know what I mean? It has to be a paradigm shift. And it all starts with information. And that's what I noticed that we lack in our communities, is that it's the information. And I understand that. It's like, it's the information that we lack. So once we get the information and it's given to us in a way that we can understand it, right? Without it being, heavily, convoluted with language that we don't understand, then we can be like, all right, I can take what you're saying to me and I can apply it. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, break it down in that type of way. But it all starts with the mindset. That before you do anything in the life, if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to be able to accomplish anything. You know what I mean? So that's what we have to change unfortunately with our community is the mindset of everything, you know, and everybody ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's the reality of it. Like I start to realize, like, yo, everybody just ain't gonna make it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think, that's important. And I think, just even adding on to that, I think those are conversations you have to have with yourself. You know what I mean? For me, those are a lot of the conversations that I have with myself. Like, look, you know what I mean? Just some humbling things going on. Like, look, this might not be it. You know what I mean? You might fail a lot of times before this really blows up to be something that it is, or you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. And, you really have to be real with yourself. I mean, above all else, whatever success looks like to you, whether it's getting that condo on the corner or it's starting a family and getting a house with 100 acres or whatever that looks like, being able to travel, whatever. Everybody's terms of success are very much different. And I think that's the beautiful part about it. But regardless of what it is, you need to understand your why. Like, what is the point? What are you doing all of this for? Yes, very simply put, we are trying to make money. We're out here trying to secure these bags. I get that. That's the easy answer. Anybody could say that. I feel like that goes without saying. But aside from that, what's your why? Why are you doing this? You want to build a legacy? You know what I mean? You're trying to get back to your community. You're trying to make your family proud. Like, what are the things that are really coming from, you building this business, whatever it might be? You know what I mean? And I think, the mentality of right here, right now is great. But then also it's very important to also think about that long term and what that looks like, and the work that you have to put in, and the sacrifices that you have to make, and the moments you're going to miss out on, and the turn-ups you just can't be a part of, like
Right.
that. And I think that's where it becomes difficult for people. And then also just facing yourself. Like for me,
Yeah.
I feel very thankful to like really know me. I really genuinely know who I am at this moment. Nobody could take that from me. It took a long time to get to that point, and I very much appreciated the journey. But I'm also aware that a lot of people have not done that, have no idea who they are, don't want to know, are very scared of the skeletons in their closet. And
Yeah.
I just try to encourage people like, hey, if it takes you moving out of the city, or if it takes you just falling back and not seeing anybody for a little bit and really spending time with yourself, like a quarantine or something like that, take that time. You got to know yourself, because you got to be able to know yourself enough that you know the moves that you need to make to get where you need to go. And you really got to trust yourself above all else. You can have the partnerships and you can have the support and all of that, but like, how do I know me? And what am I going to do? What would I do in this position? And what do I need to do in this position? Like, you have to be able to answer those questions. You have to know yourself well enough to be able to make those moves. Otherwise, it's going to be it's like deciding on food. We're the worst. You know what I mean? When, oh, where do you want to eat? Oh, I don't care. You know what? It's the same thing. You set in your mind. You know what I mean? And it's as simple as that. Like, okay, well, I want this. This is what I want today. Da, 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 da. And once you get to that point with yourself mentally, I really think it'll change the game. I really, really do.
And the
So
sooner
that's
the
just
better. The
yeah,
sooner the
absolutely.
better. The sooner you figure it out, the sooner you figure yourself out and figure out your likes, your dislikes, the sooner you can get to your why. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? The sooner you can get to why you doing what you're doing. And my thing is this: it's like, you only come across this thing one time. You know what I'm saying? You only come across life one time. So it's like
Yep.
you better get to know yourself. You know what I mean? You better learn yourself, because you know you don't want to live trying to be like somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna spend a lot of time. You're gonna spend a lot of time with yourself. So like, whatever your flaws are, whatever you got, just accept them and get past them. Like, fuck what
Yep.
anybody thinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do what is in your heart to do. Do what's in your mind to do. And so many people are so fearful, so
Yep.
scared to get started. Oh, I don't know this, or oh, I don't learn. Okay, it's fine. We live in a technological age where we
Yes.
can learn almost anything. A lot of the things that I've learned that I'm doing now, I didn't learn in high school. I didn't learn when I did some community college. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? I learned off the internet,
Yeah.
like all the way on it. Like, I
Yeah.
learned off of doing my own research, right? And one of my favorite quotes of all time is that, um, how does it go? It's a person will make a living off of education, but a person will make a fortune off of self-education. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
So
okay. Yes.
what you learn on your own time and the books that you read on your own time, that's what's going to make you a fortune. because if you're going into the institution, and it's funny because like I like to talk to people that are like that have all these fancy degrees and stuff like that, and a lot of them feel like because they have these degrees that they, that they're experts on things. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But my thing is that what is your experience?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your life
because if you're
experience.
just telling me what you learned in the classroom, right, or what a professor has taught you, then you're speaking from a limited position. You're speaking of an educational position, which is cool, but you got to add some experience to that. You know what I mean? And it's like, so my thing is that I could have went back to school for business and learn that and try to get a business degree in business management, but I weighed my option. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find a program, which I did where I'm at located now, and I'm going to learn, some basic things about business, right? How to write a business plan, how to create a entity, a LLC, a C corp or S corp, right? And these are some of the things I offer in my coach. I don't have in my coaching sessions. I don't have a program yet, but I'll probably be putting one together. But so you know what I mean. I said I'm gonna learn this on my own and not have to go to college for it because college students are graduating with all these fancy ass degrees on a bunch of money and then making less than what they went to college for. You see what I'm saying? So that's another scam that we've been kind of taught or believe that that's what we need to make it out. Now, I'm not bashing education. I don't want anybody to watch it to think that I'm bashing it. But my thing is that depending on what you want to do, you know what I mean, should determine if you should get educated on it or not. A lot of things you don't need to go to school for. You know what I mean? If you want to learn how to do business, you don't need to go to school to learn to do business.
Agree with that. Yep.
You know what I mean? If you want to learn to if you want to learn to do hair, you want to be a hairdresser, you don't necessarily have to go to school to do that. You know what I mean? If you want to learn marketing, you don't necessarily have to go to school to do that. But if you want to be a doctor, yeah, you should probably go to school to do that. You know what I mean? If you want to be a lawyer, you should probably go to school to learn the law. You feel me? So it's like it's certain, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, but a lot of things you don't have to go to school for, man. And we live, and like I said, we are the most blessed generation that has lived on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Because of all the things that we have accessible to us. And as soon as we realize that, like, it's really on us. It's really on us to really make or break whatever we're going to do. You know what I mean?
And it's also on us to hold each other accountable. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't like hearing that. And I don't care, to be honest. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, hey, and I'm always coming on. I'm the outspoken one in certain groups, and I'm this and that. And it's really like, it's not that. What it really is like, you have potential. You could really make some moves out here, but instead you choose to just stay stagnant because you're scared. Rightfully so, as you should. But because you're scared, that's the very reason that you should be doing the things that you can do. You're just scared to do. So I think that's just so important, and the topic that we've covered today, we just can't stress enough in general. You know what I mean? Like, start before you're ready. That was something that one of my clients that I also do additional work for, we had a business meeting, and he kind of was just like, one thing I learned was start before you're ready. You know what I mean? And it stuck with me. And like, that's why I was kind of like, you know what? I don't feel I'm one of those people, like, I overthink. So I want everything to be this and that sometimes. You know what I mean? But it was really in that moment, I was like, yeah, I got to do this. I've been thinking about this for quite some time. I'm tired of working for the man. I'm tired of working for people that underpay and undervalue me. And it's less about the money and just more about feeling good about what I do on a regular basis. Like, if you're passionate about something, it could be anything. It could be food. It could be nails. It could literally be anything in the world. But if that's something you're passionate about, find a way to flip that. Find a way, because there is absolutely a way. You know what I mean? Become the nail stylist. You know what I mean? Go out there and make those connections with celebrities or whatever you need to do to put your name out there. There's so many different things that you could really do, especially now, living in the DIY area, living in the digital footprint era. Like, there's just so much and so many resources. Like you said, like, a lot of the things you learn, it's literally as simple as searching. I spent a lot of time researching, and a lot of people would ask me questions, and I'm like, hey, like, not for nothing, but you could really just Google that. Not trying to be an asshole, but it's like, if you just put a little 5-10 minutes of your time into it, you will find the same answer that I'm about to give you. You know what I mean? Like,
facts. Right.
And I don't mind giving you the information, but you can also just do that research. And if anything, maybe ask questions out. Yeah, you really can. And I think that's so important. And people just, like I said, it goes right back to people want quick and easy. And I get it. We sometimes we lack patience and we want to see the results right then and right now. It's like exercising. Look, we're trying to be fit and fabulous right now. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to wait a year from now or 6 months from now, but you have to be willing to put the work in, and you have to trust yourself to put the work in, and you have to,
you gotta fall in love with the process.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta fall in love with the process.
Fall in love with and trust the process. You know what I mean? Like, period. You know, trust your struggle. You know what I mean? That's the thing. There's beauty in.
Not to cut you off, but I think that it's hard for people, a lot of people in our city, like, to even trust the process, because who have they seen make it through the process?
Right.
When have they seen that?
That's heavy, yeah.
Once you're born into your parents owning a grocery, you know, a bodega, or you're born into your grandmother or auntie owning a salon, or you're born into, like, you don't see it. It's not like, so it took for, of course, me to leave the city and to know, like, yo, I can do that. Like, I'm not even about to, like, because you're half-assing it right now, and it's pissing me off.
Right.
You know what?
So let me ask you ladies a question. What started with Chanel? What inspires you to do what you're doing?
Well, I moved away and I was working a shift job at Atlanta airport, and I still was up doing hair until 4 a.m. Like, I was going to get off work, and these people at the airport, they wanted their hair done. So I'm like, oh, you know, like, I do hair too, here and there. I wasn't licensed at the time, but, like, I was a natural stylist. I was doing hair in Reading before I left. Everybody knew that. So I still kind of, like, tampered with it or whatever, and with cool people. And once I realized, like, I'm losing sleep over this, and I'm not even charging. I'm literally free. Like, and people in Atlanta, you know Atlanta. That's like the hair capital. Like, everybody,
that's the capital for everything.
Is doing hair from the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So it's oversaturated. So that's why I really didn't want to stay in Atlanta, because I knew, number one, that this was my passion, and number two, that I wasn't going to be able to be the type of stylist that I wanted to be if I was going to be. I was going to do a lot of strange things if I wanted to be in Atlanta and make some money. You know what I'm saying? And that's essentially what it was. Like, I realized you don't even care about the money. So this is definitely something that you want to find, you know, your niche in and be able to continue to do.
Yeah, when you don't care about the money, that's how you know you kind of found, you know, with your passion. You know what I'm saying? And like me, I would give, like, I'm not even a millionaire yet, and I still want to give back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not even about like me. It's just something, it's part of me. Like I said, because I see, you know what I mean? Like, I see things that maybe other people may not be able to see in themselves, right? Or just in the environment. Like, you know, a lot of things that we have to deal with, you know what I mean? It's like, it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? And it's like, nobody really cares. So it's like, it's like, I don't know. I just have a big heart, man. I have a big heart, and I care about, you know, people period. And especially my people, because I understand the atrocities that we have been forced to deal with. You know what I mean? I've realized that, yo, they done put us through the ringer. You know what I'm saying? From slavery, from Jim Crow, to mass incarceration, to, you know, to being hit on so many different levels. And I understand it. You know what I mean? I understand it. I'm a part of it. You know what I mean? I understand that you know, that mindset of just escapism, so to speak. You know what I mean? Just want to, like, yo, but it's like, yo, we have to get in tune to how this shit works. If not, we're going to continue being on the sidelines, wondering why, you know what I mean, shit is so hard. Like, no, learn this stuff. Learn the laws, learn this business things, learn the tax codes, learn how to create an entity. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the game that they're playing, and we're not playing it. We're playing a totally different game. So we can't be on the sideline and being like, you know, you can't be on the sideline and being like, yo, damn, they went in and they doing this
Right.
to us, they doing all that. It's like, no, get into the game, man. Get into the game. Learn it. You know what I'm saying? Learn this shit because they're gonna keep doing them. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
gonna keep taking advantage and exploiting. You know what I'm saying? Either that or we're gonna have to revolt. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't sophisticated enough to do that. So we ain't even got if we try to tear some shit up, we don't even got nothing to replace it with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, no, like, so we can't even have that conversation because we can't even spend money with each other. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? So either that, either you're going. So my philosophy is that either you're going to be a business owner or you're going to starve. Like you're
Yeah.
either CEO or starve. That's like my mentality. Like, so that's how I'm giving it up, man. I just tell people like, yo, learn business, man. Learn how to invest. You know what I mean? But what was your Renee? What inspires you to start a PR firm?
Yeah. Well, first off, I do want to say I'm excited to have been a part of Chanel's journey to figuring out that this is what she was supposed to do, because I would literally be on the phone with her like, maybe you're meant to do hair. Like, maybe
Right.
this is your thing. And she's like, but I don't want to do hair. And I will never forget the day she called me and she was like, I think you're right. You know what I mean? She was like, I think this is what I want to do. And I will never forget that because that was such an important moment to me. And I knew she's going to kill it regardless of whatever she did. I already knew that. So that was a given. But I was so happy that she had felt like that because I just knew it because I was like, yo, this is your thing and you do it. I'm
Right.
talking about like I trusted her to chop my entire head, like chop my whole hair, all my hair off. No,
Right.
nobody else has done that. Only Chanel has done that. And so, so it was a huge moment. So I do want to say that I've loved being a part of that journey. But for me, honestly, really, I went to school. So I graduated twice in this field. So I had been studying public relations in both of my degrees, digital media, corporate communication. When I stumbled upon it, I had never really heard of it before. And my whole thing was I didn't want to go to school for very common things. I didn't want to go to school for nursing or anything like that. Like it just didn't feel like me. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't me. And I just was like, what do I want to do if I'm going to do this? Because the reality of the situation is a degree a lot of times means absolutely nothing. And that's the sad truth of it. But if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to invest my time and my energy into something, I want it to be something that is true to my nature, true to who I am in some way, shape or form. And once I started researching it, I think generally speaking, a lot of people don't understand what public relations is, which is probably my favorite part about it, because I get to educate people on what it is and what it can do. Solely, aside from having a business, you have an image that you have to maintain throughout the entirety of your success. And even after, you know what I mean? Depending on how big you get, that sticks with you forever. So I really love the idea of being able to pinpoint the beautiful things in any type of business, you know what I mean? And really getting them active in the community. I had the great privilege of working with a nonprofit public relations agency, which I really think just totally set the standard for me. I think at that moment is when I realized I want my own business. Like it was a small women-owned, minority-owned agency that, again, focuses on nonprofit organizations, which was already beautiful in itself. We're talking breast cancer, we're talking homeless kids, we're talking so many different things. And being able to interview people during art shows and record sessions of people raising money. And it just was also beautiful to me. And those are really a lot of the things that goes in, these events that you put together for your business. And it's not only just putting you out there as somebody in the community that people can look up to, but you're also raising money for causes that are very important. You know what I mean? You're providing this platform for people to speak, tell their stories, which is the most important for me. Tell your story. You know what I mean? It's these conversations that are very important to me. You get the opportunity to say, I'm just like you. And instead of using the negative and using it as an excuse to just not do anything at all, I actually flip that and turn that into a reason to actually make the most of my experience, of my situation, and really just boom and do something big and do something for others, because at the end of the day, we really do need each other more than we think we do. Like, I think it's very hard because we live at a time where trust no one is so common, and oh, well, I just can't trust, and it's very common. And I get that in a lot of ways. But then I also feel, and again, I feel like COVID has really done a great job of this, is seeing how we really can come together and really, help each other and do certain things that are just so important. We are so valuable as a unit and we don't even know it. And so, that was a lot of that, just understanding it's not what you see on Scandal all the time. It can be that shady stuff that's going on. And, the reality of
I don't
PR,
watch Scandal. What goes on
I don't watch
Scandal?
it either. I don't watch it either, but a lot of people will be like, "Is this what you do?" And I'm just like, I don't even need to know. The show is called Scandal, and that already just sounds like something that I don't want. So I don't want to do that. But the point of public relations is when you're in situations like, for example, Exxon, with the entire oil spill and all of that stuff going on, like their PR person put together a whole rebuttal against what happened to ensure that and this might be the worst example to provide, but this is really the example of PR in a nutshell. You have to try to shed light on the positives of certain things, and you have to explain to people like what you're doing, why you're doing it, how it's going to benefit the community or your customers, things of that nature. Helping companies putting together plans for situations such as these. You know what I mean? Their crisis plans need to be put in place for pandemics and viruses and all of these things that are going on, and a lot of companies don't have that. And so and I really enjoy being on the back end of things. I don't really
Yeah, this was
I'm
all
not
hard.
yeah. I'm not really interested in like, fame and all of that. I really enjoy like being just just being in the background and the recordings and all of that stuff and making sure you feel good and you know what you're gonna say. And so, whether it's a talk show or just a random event or securing, something with the news, it just excited me. It was really cool. It's a great way to give back. And I think
If somebody wants to use your service, how can they get a hold of you?
yeah, I mean, I do have my website. I have my first website. It's not the final, it's not the official, but it is my current website as of right now. I do have my Instagram, which is the easiest way to click the link, Anomaly the agency. And yeah, it's really I'm on, freelancing websites as well. You can get in contact through Chanel or whomever. We do tend to have like our information on our website, or not our website, but like our social media pages, things of that nature. We have the links there as well. People are wanting to get in contact with me. Um, DM me, send me a Facebook request, whatever. And, even if it's just to have a conversation, I do consultations. I do have businesses that just kind of reach out and ask like what exactly they can do to make their business a little better. On social media, a lot of times, and it is more than social media, you know what I mean? It's about securing and making sure, such as this type of platform, your voice is being heard and people are really recognizing it. Thought leadership is the name of the game. And, you have to be able to provide that. You have to be able to provide that incentive and that insight where, I'm saying this and this is not the end all be all, but this is something that I can provide for you. And people have that opportunity to make that choice as to whether they want to move forward with you or not. So.
No, that's dope. And when you guys reached out to me, when Chanel reached out to me, and I was just like, no, that's dope. You know what I mean? Y'all platform and how y'all using it. And I can tell you guys are really good friends too. So for you
Yeah.
guys to really, come together and just have an open discussion of just, about smart stuff. You know what I mean? Like just stuff that is just not
Yep.
about about dumb things, man. It's really needed, man. Really needed for our communities just to see the other side of stuff. You know what I'm saying? They only see one side of us, but there's people that actually think. You know what I mean? People that out there that's trying to do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so it's important, man. And I definitely, anytime you guys need me to be a part of the platform, I'm available. Just let me know. You know what I mean? Because I'm for stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? And even like, and I think with this coronavirus stuff going on, people ain't leaving their crib. You know what I mean? In quite some time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But how do y'all feel about the everything with the coronavirus and all that? Like,
I mean,
y'all go first.
The coronavirus to me, I feel like it's going to change the game. It's going to change the world. Naturally, we're going to the norm it's going to be a new norm for us. And that's what we need. That's really what we need. People really needed to get in tune with themselves. People were living wrong. Like a lot of people were doing things, just human nature was not what it used to be. And I feel like it's going to get back to that point. It's kind of like, I think of it like, 9/11. All the things that we have in place now after post 9/11, it's crazy that we didn't have it in place prior to 9/11.
Yeah.
Like, who is running this stuff? Like, what are they doing? And it's the same thing with this pandemic. Like, it's the same thing with this. Like, everybody should have been washing their hands. Everybody should have been wiping down the cart before grocery shopping. Like, who's not doing
True,
that?
yeah. Right.
You know,
And they had their sanitation joints right at the whatchamacallit.
they've
Yeah,
always
they did.
When you
They
come
always
in.
did.
there. You
Yeah.
know, like, as far as like the mask is concerned, I mean,
Yeah.
no, I don't think that we're gonna be walking outside with masks and things of that nature. But like, it's a wrap. Amazon and things of like your business and how you are operating online e-commerce, like you said, is the way to go. We've already started doing that. You know what I'm saying? We've already started buying everything online. Now it's really going to be a push for e-commerce, and everybody's going to be looking for their e-commerce website to shop on. Period.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah.
what it's going to be. So now, if you don't start to get in that wave, COVID-19 is going to push you there, regardless of the situation. Like you said, people ain't going out their houses too much more. You know, I feel bad for restaurants. I feel bad for because now you got people ain't gonna be sitting in restaurants really like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's gonna be a lot of dine and go or you know, ordering. We already have the Uber Eats. All these things are already in place to really pick up the pieces. You know what I'm saying? And just go in. So I mean, it's gonna be different, but I think that I'm excited for the new norm. I'm excited for people to be more independent and not, you know, be dependent on so much of these things out here in the world. It's just I'm ready for it. I'm ready for change, basically.
Yeah, for sure. And even just adding on to that, I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's a scary thing. You know, like you had said, you know, people are actually dying. People are actually hurting from this, especially small businesses. I think this is really a time to shine light on them because now more than ever is the time, however we can, to support them in any way, shape, or form. And it's really a true test for our communities in general, like how much we're willing to go to support these businesses, you know, and you know, just kind of thinking the first person that comes to my head is like Nipsey. You know what I mean? This is a lot of what he was. This was the point of the move he was trying to make. You know what I mean? To focus on these small businesses, to get back to his community in a way where they felt like they could walk in a store and not be judged automatically. You know what I mean? Like allowing it to be a comfortable zone where we could really just grow as people. It's a crazy time, but I think it's really ultimately a test. It's really a test for so many things. You know what I mean? Your level of motivation, you know, how you can overcome these types of things. I mean, it's a huge time in history. You know, we're all going to be able to look back and to be like, wow, we overcame this, and we are going to. Let's be clear. You know what I mean? We might take a couple hits, or we're going to take a couple falls, but at the end of the day, we're overcoming all of this. And I think a lot of people are really expressing themselves in a different way right now, and I think that's important too. You know, this is really just, like I said, I think all in all, I'm very proud of what we've been doing as a society right now. I can honestly say it's something that I pay attention to. Of course, there's always room for growth, but I think the route that we're taking, where we're really expanding on the things that we can do and communicating a little differently, and we have this one thing that kind of linked us all together that we can all relate. We're all hurting from this in some way, period. You know what I mean? And I think that's so important because it really was something that brought us together. And it's like, okay, well, we're doing this and we're doing this, and the family time is increasing, and you know, you're learning about yourself and your spouse or whoever, and it's just so important. And I know there's a lot of ugly coming from it, but and again, I don't like to make every day of my life about this because I don't think that it should be, unfortunately, as much as it is, because it is. You do have to go outside and think about this on a regular basis. You can't move the way you want to. You can't, you know, for me personally, I find a lot of inspiration just by working at bars or cafes and like seeing how, you know, like I love to see, you know, to just be around different movements and seeing people, you know, people watching type of thing,
People
you know,
watching. Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, people watch.
yeah, you know, and it's so inspiring, you know, because it's just like, wow, this is cool. And I love seeing that. And so the fact that I can't, I'm not gonna lie, I've been having some cloudy days because I'm just like, I do a lot of
Quick
hiking right
question: you
now.
ever get caught people watching?
Yeah, probably. And I just feel like,
You're
you know,
like,
I'm just smiling a little bit
you
like,
gotta play it
hey,
off.
don't get caught.
Yeah.
But you know, I do a lot of hiking right now. You know, I've really been trying to take advantage of the fresh air and the sun. I think that's important. You know, I know we are supposed to stay in and as much as possible, but I do think we really should be getting sunlight, and we should be taking advantage of the opportunity to have fresh air, and it's making the most of that. It's to be in tune with nature is a very important thing for me. And I think everybody, that should be important to anybody, but
they don't want to know about your obsession with nature. They don't want to know.
I'm just saying it's very important. You learn a lot about, if you want to talk about clarity, you want to talk about getting inside of your head and really dissecting some things. I think a hike always does it for me, and I'm always random. I'm jumping through mud and hopping on logs. I'm really
and how are we friends? How are we friends? Listen, real quick.
I like nature too, but I ain't jumping in no damn mud. I don't know about that.
I go to visit her in Colorado.
Hiking, I can do hiking. I can do that.
Wait.
Yeah, you don't want to go on a hike with me. The last hike that I went on literally was like 3 hours long. We literally crossed over logs, got stuck in mud. Like, it was crazy, but it was so
her in Colorado. We go, she's like, oh, we got to go on a hike because we're in Colorado. I'm like, okay, we're going to go to Boulder Mountain. Okay. I'm hyped, right? Ready for it. Actually, I'm not prepared because I have on combat boots, tights, and a Tokyo sweater. So I'm already jacked up. Anyway, we get on this hiking trail. She's going hard. You got these old people running up the mountain. Like, I'm out of breath. I'm like, whoa, like, I'm getting into my fitness as soon as I get back. Why we get up at the trail and I see a sign and it's like, if you encounter a bear or a mountain lion,
oh hell no.
Fight back.
Wow, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool if we get. I said my name. Let's go. I'm going. We went back down the trail. I'm not doing no more. You're crazy. Yeah.
She cut
no fun, no petting, and you want me to fight in a mountain lion? Come on. She's too much into nature.
Well, at least you had combat boots. You can kick the shit out of the bear or something.
At the very least.
No, but I just think, like I said, I mean, my hikes aren't always like that, but I just really enjoy it because it's a side of me that I don't always get to see when you're doing work and you're building your business and you're doing all these things. So it's just an opportunity for me to be free of myself, period. You know what I mean? To explore different versions of myself. Like, I was out there skipping rocks, doing stuff that I am not doing on a regular basis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was really just in a bag. I just was just like, all right, we're doing this, embracing like different parts of me that I don't get to embrace often. And so whatever it is you have to do, the Reading Museum, that's a beautiful place to go to right now. The flowers are blooming. I put a little blanket on the ground, just reading books and stuff like that. Like, there's just so many different things that you can do, but I think it's important to go outside. Huh?
I said, and this is where you can find Renee. If you're looking for her, just look at the cracks and crevices of our city.
Backyard, just laying outside with my dog, something, but seriously, I think this is a great time to really explore different versions of yourself. It's hard to come to terms with who you are sometimes, and I get it. We're all shitty on some ends, but we're also really great on others, and so that's important. You know what I mean? We all have things to work on. We can't hold ourselves back because of it. So I really think, with everything going on, as ugly as it has been getting, and we are unfortunately not seeing a lot of the negative personally.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, you're good. I'm like, should I wait or?
Oh, my bad. My bad. My phone's about to die. I was getting my charger.
Oh no, you're good.
Keep going.
No, like, as much as we're not seeing a lot of the negative, and I think that's where it becomes a really sensitive topic, and it's really hard for people to overlook that part of it. I really think there's a lot of beautiful that's coming from this, and we got to focus on the collateral beauty. I don't know if y'all ever saw that movie, but it was a great Will Smith in it, so you know it was good.
Collateral what? Damage?
Beauty. Collateral beauty.
Yeah, I think I did see that.
But the moral of the story is like, you have to find the beauty in even the ugliest parts of your life. And it was really good. And I always think about that whenever I can. I really try to.
His son died or something, right? Like somebody died major. Yeah, that was a good movie. That movie was deep.
Really good. It was really good.
Yeah, it was a lesson to be learned in that.
Well,
yeah.
say this has been very interesting. And Daisha, we will literally have you probably on more than you want to be at this point. Like,
Yeah, listen, I'm for it,
Yeah.
man.
so
I'm
much
for it.
we have to touch on, and
Yeah,
we're all trying to get to the same end result as far as our community is concerned.
yeah,
So adding to, well, building a community is which we're doing now, you know, networking with like-minded people and expanding and starting to really share the message, and on our own just slowly trying to educate our youth. That is like the biggest thing, educating our youth. Some of the people that are our age, you know, you're 30, I'm 28, she's 28. Some of us are already so far gone that there's no saving them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the focus is on, you know, those to come. So I feel like, you know, we're gonna wrap it up because an hour and 40 minutes of editing that I gotta go through is gonna be torture. But the good thing is a lot of what was said today is very meaningful, and whoever is in our city and is watching these vlogs are, I mean, you guys, you have to pay attention to what we're saying. We're speaking from experience. We're not speaking from what somebody told us. So just jump on that wave. That's the safest way to go. Like you said, like the greatest mentality is to either, you know, own your business or you ain't gonna eat it all. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what we're, I mean, y'all are waiting on stimulus check. That ain't, come on, that ain't gonna get it. That's not gonna get it. One time, you know what I mean? Like, and hope to God, we ain't even gonna get on that subject because I know you got something for that. What they doing with these stimulus checks.
yeah.
But if you ask me, I got my stimulus check, and guess what I did? I paid off like 4 or 5 things in my house. Like,
Right,
there's a lot going on here, and the money's gone. It just as quick as
right.
it came, as it went out.
Gone. Yeah,
Right.
Saying like it wasn't on anything that it was all benefit. You know, I used it where it needed to go, and I'm not wasting any money, any dime. And it's not free money. We're putting this money into the community all the time. It is not free money. Don't think like that. This is money that you worked hard to get back in this time. So
Yeah.
you know, that's just my outlook on it. But that was my close up message. I don't know, Rane, what if you want to say anything, and Daisha, of course, you'll be able to talk before we end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, any questions that you might have, as always, keep writing us, keep giving us feedback. That's always important to all of us. Definitely make sure that you follow Andesha on his social media. We will have that information at the end of our blog. So hopefully you get to that point because this is a long one, but it's a good one.
Beginning too, just in case.
Just in case you want to be petty and not watch the whole thing, whatever. But the point is, you know, just make sure that, you know, you're being proactive, even if it is so much as just listening in for 10 minutes of a time. You know, he has a lot of knowledge that's not only just genuine knowledge, but it's important. It's necessary. It's something that we could all benefit from right now in this moment. You know, whether you have a business or you're thinking about a business or your business is lacking, whatever the case may be, this is all important information that we genuinely enjoy sharing with you. Anybody that's interested, if you for any reason don't catch that information, reach out to us. We'll be happy to forward that along to him so that you can have that conversation and move forward however you decide to. But again, thank you so much for coming on with us today, and Daisha, I really do appreciate it. It was a great conversation. And moving forward, you know, we look forward
absolutely.
to it.
Yeah. No, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, ladies, Renee and Chanel, for extending the platform to me. This conversation was very refreshing because, like I said, there's not a lot of people having intelligent conversations these days, and to be able to you know, have a uplifting conversation about positive things, our perspective on certain things is good. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I think that, you know, in the future, I like educating. You know what I mean? I like being able to pull the whiteboard out and really show people like, yo, listen, you know, these are the practical steps that we can take, right, to get us to the next phase. Everything is a process. So, you know, I have a book coming out soon. I want you guys to look for that. I'm finishing up with that. Due to the coronavirus, of course, you know, a lot of things have been put on halt, but I'm definitely working on that. And Renee, I'm definitely interested in working with you as far as PR concerns and getting my message and my brand and stuff out there. And also,
Share the name of the.
I'm gonna disclose that at a later date.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, once I have everything. But so yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this conversation, ladies. It's refreshing, and I look forward to being on it again. And my message to anybody that watches this is that if you see limitations around you, then there's going to be limitations, right? You have to change your mindset. If you feel as though it's a limitation, there's an opportunity in that. You have to find it, and you have to, identify with it, and go in. You know what I mean? Somebody said earlier, you start before you're ready. I like that. You start before you're ready. You know what I mean? And you're going to find that you have nothing to lose. If anything, you're going to gain experience. You're going to gain knowledge on something that you may not have known before. And, that's the worst, if you want to call it the worst, that can happen. You know what I mean? So, I always come authentic. I'm always going to come real in my perspective. And thank you, ladies, again.
All right, I'm Chanel with Chapter 28 Beauty.
Ronee with Anomaly the Agency, and our guest speaker for today.
And Daisha Thornton, CEO and founder of Shop Digital Headquarters. Sign out.
All righty.
Bye.